and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is experienced and award winning publisher and book professional, no other than Mr. Peter Burnett.
Hi, Daniel. Thanks.
Welcome. Yes, welcome to Book 101, Mr. Peter. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Okay, as you said, I'm a publisher. We're now looking at my publishing website, Leamington Books. So, Leamington Books is based in Edinburgh, as am I. That's where I'm speaking to you from. It's cold. It's all everyone needs to know. Um, we are, uh, as I say, a local publisher, but personally, I've had a publishing adventure which really extends from just really having access to a photocopier and a long arm stapler right through to some of these books have really traveled really well, done international deals, film and other things. Um, on the site, you'll also find Scots language and Gaelic language publishing, which I've done and very interested in. I don't know if any of your listeners know about that, but that's a other fascinating side of it. So, and self-publishing, done a lot of that and continue to do so too. There's so many different modes and models, and it's very easy in some respects for small groups of people or even individuals to pick up and do micro publishing. There are quite a few, I would say. My own personal kind of status at the moment would be micro publisher. That's what you would call what I do. There are quite a lot in Scotland in particular. So, and that's a population of about 6 million people. So it's about the same population as metropolitan Miami or Boston, I know for a fact. But we have a good amount of micro publishers here, which is usually one or two people who are working 1.5 days a week, maybe three, never five. So we all have other jobs, and I think probably in this country, Scotland alone, there are probably 5 to 10 people or groups, couples, or people that in that category. So it's quite accessible business too. Um, so uh, that's the company website there. You're having a look at it just now, is that right?
Yes,
Great. People
indeed.
can see it. That's leamingtonbooks.com. Um, not actually a very Scottish sounding name, but yes. Uh-huh.
Mr. Peter Burnett, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. What pivotal moment or project first set you on the path to becoming an award winning publisher?
Probably writing itself and beginning writing books. So enjoying working with writers. And when a book comes out, it's obviously a very good feeling for the person. Do you agree with that old saw that every person has a book in them? Do you think
Yes,
that?
yes, definitely.
Yes. So if that were so, then part of facilitating that is uh, it's really rewarding. So being a writer, you may have a book out every 2 years or 1 year. If you're a publisher, a lot of publishers will want you to have at least one book a year. So it's quite a lot of work. Uh, getting to experience that 4 or 5, 6 times a year producing books is quite a buzz. It's quite a buzz indeed, and I love the process.
Lots of process indeed. And people nowadays stop procrastinating. That's why they cannot write their own book because okay, I will do it next year. I will do it next
Aha.
month.
Hmm.
So how has the publishing industry evolved since you started, and what trends excite or concern you most today?
Hmm. Even when I was aware of it first in even the 80s in the United Kingdom, it was very masculine. It carried on pretty much all through the 90s. So that's changed. That's a visible change, but over quite a long um, period of time. And the arrival of Amazon was quite a change for everybody. And who knew that the biggest shop in the world would have started as a bookshop? Because that's what it was. And then from that, electronic books, huge change, and quite a lot of accessibility of uh, writing. Because if you're over a certain age and you were a teenager and wanted to write, your only options would be either pen, paper, or typewriter. Um, so, quite significant technological changes. And those are obviously going even faster at the moment with AI. And everyone's interested in AI and creativity and publishing and writing and art and, these beautiful things. It's a really good conversation there, don't you think? So, um, in fact, one of the books that I've published this year, it's out at the moment, is on the website. It's called For Emma, and it's a novel by Ewan Morrison, and it's about a lot of these subjects about acceleration in tech. But it's certainly happening in publishing.
And Mr. Peter, what's the most misunderstood aspect of being a professional in the book industry?
The most misunderstood. Hmm, pretty good question, actually. Uh, um, I'm curiously silent on that one. One might be that you make lots of money, but some people do. As I said, I'm in the micro publisher business, so the sums are micro too. Um, as for uh, other professionals, I'm not sure I would know the answer to that. You'd have to go behind the scenes at the Frankfurt Book Fair, which, thanks to Publishing Scotland, I've done, and it was a really interesting experience because the huge publishing concentrations of the world in London, New York, and India basically come together there, and it's really fascinating. So, not a complete answer to that, I am afraid.
So let's talk about the awards and recognition. Which award or achievement are you most proud of, and why does it stand out?
I think it's an achievement. I only started publishing at the speed at which I'm doing or have been doing, just maybe six more books a year, 5 years or so ago. So I had quite a big to do list. And one thing I wanted to do and achieve was to sell some exciting foreign rights for a novel, and managed to do that last year with our Ewan Morrison's book for Emma. Um, so that was good achievement, good experience, and could really sort of tick that off. As a micro publisher, I'm not sure I would be wanting to do that the whole time. Um, Without doubt, the most gratifying part is the writers themselves and their work and giving that undivided attention. So um, one of my achievements has been able to do that and not really being distracted by anything else other than the work and attention to it and attention to the writer. Yeah.
How you define, oh yes, how do you define excellence in publishing? What separates an award-winning book from the rest?
Well, there are many awards out there, strangely, which is one thing I've really discovered, particularly over the last 5 years, uh, that there are more and more awards. So, for example, last week the Booker long list was announced. That's quite a big deal. It's a big list, but actually, as we've looked through the landscape and we've looked for awards that uh, our writers are eligible for, there are scores of them, and I've got a 7-page list of them now, with thanks to quite many people actually have helped um, do that have either interned or worked for Leamington. So to get onto the award list is a really good thing, to the short list or long lists, because it's one of the currencies of conversation about books and writing. Uh, and there are probably more awards out there than people know. And I will, I guess, once I've finished this part of the project, try and share that somehow. Because if you go to your native search engine and look up "Give me literary awards," I think you get garbage back, pretty much. And we've had to research these by hand, as it were, like searching social media, um, searching Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, for because people will be sharing them and talking about the awards, and then lo and behold, the book, again, the one we just published for Emma, it is eligible for many awards actually, probably about 20 to 30 at least, that we found that we could be able to submit it to. And the submission process is different for everyone, I can tell you that. It's a lot of work. So um, the sort of behind the scenes work sometimes can be really, our next projects will be a book of Gaelic poetry. Now, again, that's eligible for quite a lot of different awards in Gaelic, obviously, and there are a few of those. And so, in terms of finding profile for the writers as a publisher, and if you've got a publisher and they're not doing this, ask them to do it. Encourage them to find awards that they're eligible for, because everyone's actually now niched as well. You'll be in a, whether it's a niche by genre or a niche by identity, there'll be awards for you as a writer, and they're different for each writer. So I'll also publish next year a first novel by an author called Luca Serra, an Italian Scot. That will be eligible for quite a lot of first novel awards, for example. So if your publisher's going to publish your first novel, make sure they're especially on those awards.
Mr. Peter, as experienced and award-winning publisher and book professional, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Um, Short term, we've got, as I say, 3 books uh, coming out probably in the next 6 to 8 months. Um, 2 I've already told you about: the Book of Gaelic Poetry by Katie Campbell, Luca Serra's novel This Is Home, and a book by Mohammed Musa, a Gazan poet, whose uh, work is quite remarkable, and we're just working on that right now, actually. And longer term, I have discovered an account with Ingram Spark, who are Good as a self-publisher. People will quite often use them instead of KDP or as well as KDP. I've got about 40 plus books on there, and I really want to develop that. One of the things I've liked about it over KDP is that I've got a human that I can speak to there, which is pretty good when you think about it in this day and age. If there's an issue at KTP, you're hardly going to be able to phone up and speak to someone. So, um, slightly longer term is develop that, and I can see me publishing quite a lot of books through that. Um, and definitely, since you mentioned procrastination, make it my mission to get people to cut back on that procrastination and get on with it. What they don't realize is that books don't need to be that long. They can be there are 20,000 word books out there. There are 400 word books out there that still sell, but it doesn't need to be long, folks. That's my that's my top tip for procrastinators.
Mr. Peter, good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. What would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be, of course, like you?
Probably listen to Daniel's podcast, I think, because I started listening to it and I thought, yeah, actually, I like what's going on here. So that would be among my number one. Um, everyone knows just concentrate on the books and the writing. It's all about the books and the writing. Everything else is a distraction.
Definitely. If you have the passion, please do it, people, and stop procrastinating. Share to the world. And Mr. Peter, can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Crikey. Um, Anything by Stuart Home, because I liked this writer in the early 90s, and now I publish him, which is great. And hopefully, I've read just about everything he's written, which is, I don't know, 30 plus odd books. And I saw him yesterday,
Yes.
which is even better. um, so, and that's spelled Stewart, Stuart Home. And he did an event here in Edinburgh yesterday, and it was a really nice crowd. Really good to see that he's still. Um, and his current book is called Fascist Yoga. It's a book about yoga and the origins of yoga. It's fascinating. You'll like it.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Peter. What emerging technology or trend will most disrupt publishing in the next 5 years?
Podcasting,
Hmm.
without a doubt. Do you think? Have you heard AI generated podcasts? Have you ever heard that?
No, not yet.
No,
But
not yet.
most, I think one of my friend doing it. So,
Oh my goodness.
but anyway,
So,
yes.
so the return of the human will be the big trend.
Yes, for sure. What's one outdated publishing practice that industry should abandon?
Misogyny,
Mm.
yes, without any doubt, across the world, really. Uh, Whether you are talking about just educating the girls, even, or, uh, but yes, and as I said, it's been there and it's been visible in my lifetime and many without, yeah, I'm sure it continues.
Mr. Peter, how can a debut author should buzz in an oversaturated market?
if their market is Amazon and KDP and ebooks and that thing, saturation actually works. Quantity. So if you're and also paying Amazon, that works too. We know that. So by which I mean advertising, and that's perfectly legit and good, and a good thing to for an author to master, I believe, because if you have the ready resources to invest money in getting Amazon to show your book, i.e., actually show it to customers, uh, then that does work. But it's a second job. But that for some authors that is fine. For many, I might imagine the whole tech side of it and the engagement with Amazon's machinery would be far too high a price to pay, and uh, for others actually just simply wouldn't have even the ready money to invest in advertising, which if I were to put a figure on it would have to be at least to get your book shown and to actually generate real sales and see and experience, it's probably at least $500 a month, but people spend a lot more than that. But that's so that saturation is one way to beat it by doing quantity because the algorithm likes that, and so do readers, which is important to remember because they like to invest in authors. They do invest in authors. Um, so actually giving them a lot um, of the same thing, if that's your thing, is good. Was a good way to. So saturation beats saturation, as does paying them. But um, there are many furrows to plough, lonely and otherwise. You don't know.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Peter, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and
Mm.
Mental Health 101 love letters in fourth season, as well as my movie 101 review and music 101 and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Peter, if you could instill one piece of wisdom in every aspiring author or publisher, what would it be?
Well, I think I've actually issued all my wisdom and just advise everyone to keep writing, keep going. They know they have to, and as I say, listen to the podcast. That was a pretty fascinating and impressive array. I'm very keen on being able to produce quantities of stuff. So with or without AI.
Mhm.
So don't be frightened of the AI. Would be my wisdom to impart.
Yes,
Even though
people.
pretty much everything else we're doing here it says to be. Hmm.
Definitely, Mr. Peter Burnett. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or any projects that you're doing right now?
Have a look at For Emma, as I say, and find us at Leamington Books. It ain't hard to find anything. We're right there.
Yes.
Going to be coming back to this podcast, Daniel.
Yes, indeed. I'm inviting you to please do come over on Abstract Essay and let's talk about your writing process over there. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Peter Burnett, because if you support him, for sure, more and more and more empowering books to come, more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Mr. Peter, thank you so much for your time.
My
More to
pleasure.
come, people. See you soon.